The Varathi had conquered 37 star systems in 200 years. They did not negotiate. They did not make treaties. They simply arrived, and civilizations ended. Their empire stretched across the galaxy like a dark stain, and every species that encountered them learned the same terrible lesson. Resistance meant nothing against the Varathi collective, but even the Varathi needed tools for their work. Deep in the heart of their command vessel, in a chamber that hummed with dark energy, something waited. It had no name that mattered. The Varathi called it Unit 7, and that was enough. It was not alive in any way that most beings would understand, but it was not dead either. It existed somewhere in between, a thing of metal and flesh and ancient technology that the Varathi had perfected over centuries of war. Unit 7 was a weapon. More specifically, it was the weapon. The Varathi had designed it for one purpose and one purpose only. Extinction. It stood 7 feet tall when it chose to stand. Its body was covered in dark plates that shifted and moved like living skin. Beneath those plates, circuits and organic tissue worked together in ways that even the Varathi scientists did not fully understand. Its eyes glowed with a faint red light, and when it looked at something, it saw everything. Heat signatures, life signs, structural weaknesses. Fear. Unit 7 had destroyed 3 civilizations. The Kethrani had lasted 6 days. The Marathi had lasted 4. The Belzaxi had not even lasted 1. Each time, Unit 7 had moved through their cities and their ships and their hiding places with perfect efficiency. It felt nothing when it killed. It felt nothing when the screening stopped. It simply completed its task and returned to the darkness of its chamber to wait for the next mission. Now, a new mission had come. Commander Zorath stood before the main display screen on the bridge of the command vessel. He was tall for a Varathi, with gray skin that seemed to absorb light and eyes like pools of black oil. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "The humans have expanded beyond their home system," he said to the assembled officers. "They have established colonies on 14 worlds. Their military forces are primitive compared to ours, but they breed quickly and they are persistent. The High Command has decided that they must be eliminated before they become a problem." One of the junior officers shifted nervously. "Commander, I have heard strange reports about the humans. They say that humans come from a death world, that their planet is filled with predators and disasters and poisons, and yet they survived. They say humans do not surrender even when they should." Zorath turned to look at the officer. His expression did not change. "Every species believes they are special. Every species believes they will be the ones to resist the collective. They are always wrong." He gestured toward the darkness at the edge of the bridge. "And we have Unit 7. The weapon emerged from the shadows." The officers stepped back instinctively, even though they had seen Unit 7 before. There was something about its presence that touched a primal fear in every living thing. It moved without sound, and when it stopped before Commander Zorath, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "You will begin with the outer colonies," Zorath said. "There is a mining station on one of the moons near their 4th planet. It is isolated. It will be a good test of human resistance." He smiled, though there was no warmth in it. "Show me what humanity is made of." Unit 7 processed the information. Maps and data flowed through its consciousness. The mining station was called Europa Station 7. It housed approximately 300 humans. They had minimal defensive capabilities. The mission would take approximately 4 hours to complete. "Understood," Unit 7 said. Its voice was flat and empty, like wind passing through a dead place. The journey to the human system took 2 days. Unit 7 spent that time in its chamber, not sleeping because it did not sleep, not thinking because what passed for its thoughts were only mission parameters and tactical calculations. It reviewed the data on humans again and again. Bipedal, carbon-based, average lifespan of 80 years. Social creatures with strong pack bonds. Capable of surprising violence when threatened. None of it mattered. Data was just data. When the killing began, they would die like all the others that the small infiltration vessel dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the moon called Europa. Unit 7 observed the mining station through the ship's sensors. It was a collection of connected modules built into the ice, with tunnels extending deep below the surface. The humans inside were going about their daily routines. They had no idea what was coming. Unit 7 left the vessel and crossed the frozen surface alone. The cold meant nothing to it. The vacuum of space meant nothing to it. It reached the station's outer hull and extended one clawed hand. The metal parted like paper, and Unit 7 entered the station. Inside, the corridors were warm and bright. Unit 7 heard human voices in the distance. Laughter, conversation, the ordinary sounds of life. It moved toward them, silent as death itself. But then something unexpected happened. Unit 7's sensors detected an anomaly. One section of the station had been damaged, probably by a recent accident. The corridors there were dark and filled with debris. And in that damaged section, Unit 7 detected a single life sign. It was small. Much smaller than the adult humans Unit 7 had been studying, for reasons it could not explain. Unit 7 changed direction. It moved toward the damaged section instead of the populated areas of the station. This was inefficient. This was illogical. But something pulled at it, some fragment of code or instinct that it did not recognize. The damaged corridor was cold and silent. Emergency lights flickered overhead, casting strange shadows on the walls. Unit 7 stepped over fallen beams and broken equipment, following the life sign deeper into the wreckage. And then it found her. She was sitting against a wall, her small legs trapped beneath a fallen support beam. She could not have been more than 7 years old. Her face was dirty and streaked with dried tears. She wore a simple jumpsuit with a name tag that read, Lily Porter. When she looked up and saw Unit 7 standing in the darkness, her eyes went wide. Unit 7 raised one clawed hand. Its programming was clear. Terminate all human life forms. No exceptions. No hesitation. But the girl did not scream. She did not beg for her life. Instead, she looked at Unit 7's scarred and damaged exterior, at the old wounds that marked its body from centuries of warfare, and she said something that Unit 7 had never heard before. Are you hurt too? Unit 7's hand froze in the air. Deep within its programming, something cracked. A weapon designed to end entire civilizations stood motionless before a child, and for the first time in its existence, it did not know what to do. Unit 7 stood completely still. The red glow of its eyes flickered as it processed the girl's words. Are you hurt too? The question made no sense. No species had ever looked at Unit 7 and seen anything other than death. No creature had ever shown it concern. The girl called Lily was still watching it. She was afraid. Unit 7 could see her heart beating fast, could measure the stress hormones flooding her small body. But she was not screaming. She was not trying to run. She was simply looking at the weapon that had come to kill her, and she was asking if it was okay. Unit 7 lowered its clawed hand. I am not hurt, it said. Its voice echoed strangely in the damaged corridor. I do not feel pain. Lily tilted her head to one side. Everyone feels pain, she said. My daddy says that even robots have feelings if they are smart enough. She winced and shifted her trapped legs. Can you help me? The beam fell, and I cannot get out. I have been here for a long time. Unit 7's programming told it to complete the termination. The order scrolled through its consciousness like a command written in fire. But something else was happening inside it, something it did not understand. It was curious. It wanted to know more about this small human who looked at a monster and asked about its wounds. "Why are you not afraid?" Unit 7 asked. Lily thought about the question. "I am afraid," she admitted. "You look very scary. But my daddy says that scary things are not always bad things. He says that sometimes the scariest things are the ones that need the most love." She tried to smile, but her face was pale from pain. "Are you a bad thing?" Unit 7 did not answer immediately. It ran through its entire history, all the missions it had completed, all the lives it had ended. By any reasonable definition, it was the worst thing in the galaxy. But the girl was looking at it with such hope in her eyes that Unit 7 could not bring itself to tell her the truth. "I do not know what I am," it finally said. It moved forward and crouched beside the fallen beam. The metal groaned as Unit 7 gripped it and lifted. Lily pulled her legs free and gasped with relief. Her ankle was swollen and bruised, but not broken. She would survive. She should not survive. A voice whispered in Unit 7's mind. "She is a target. Complete the mission." Unit 7 ignored the voice. "Thank you," Lily said. She rubbed her ankle and looked up at the weapon looming over her. "What is your name?" "I am designated Unit 7. Lily wrinkled her nose. "That is not a name. That is a number." "My name is Lily. What is your real name?" "I do not have a real name." "Everyone has a real name," Lily insisted. She was quiet for a moment, thinking. "Maybe you just forgot it. My grandma forgot a lot of things before she went to sleep forever. Maybe you are like her." Unit 7 processed this information. It searched through its memory banks, through centuries of data and mission logs. But there was nothing before the Varathi. There was only darkness and then awakening, and then the endless work of destruction. If it had ever been something else, that knowledge had been erased. "Perhaps," Unit 7 said. Lily shivered. The damaged section of the station was cold, and she was wearing only a thin jumpsuit. Unit 7 observed her dropping body temperature and made another illogical decision. It moved closer to her, and the heat generated by its internal systems began to warm the air around them. "You are warm," Lily said with surprise. She leaned against Unit 7's leg without hesitation. "I thought you would be cold." "You look cold." "I am many things," Unit 7 replied. They sat together in the darkness. Lily talked because talking helped her feel less scared. She told Unit 7 about her father, Danny Porter, who worked on the mining equipment. She told it about her mother, who had died when Lily was very young. She told it about her favorite stories, tales of brave heroes who fought monsters and saved people. "Do you like stories?" Lily asked. "I do not know," Unit 7 said. "I have never heard a story." Lily stared at it with wide eyes. "Never? Not even one?" "Never." "That is the saddest thing I have ever heard," Lily said softly. She reached into the pocket of her jumpsuit and pulled out a small emergency ration bar. It was the kind that all station children were taught to carry in case of accidents. She broke it in half and held one piece up to Unit 7. "Here," she said. "You look hungry." Unit 7 did not eat. It did not need food. But Lily was offering half of her only food to a creature that had come to kill her. She was hungry and scared and alone, and her first thought was to share what little she had. Something shifted inside Unit 7. It was like a door opening in a room that had been locked for centuries. The weapon's internal systems registered the change as a critical error, a malfunction in its core programming. But Unit 7 did not feel broken. For the first time since its creation, it felt something that might have been the beginning of wholeness. "I do not eat," Unit 7 said gently. "But, thank you." Lily shrugged and ate both pieces herself. "More for me then," she said with a small smile. A crackling sound came from deeper in the corridor. Lily jumped with fear, but Unit 7 remained calm. It was just a damaged communication terminal coming back to life. A moment later, a voice emerged from the static. Lily? Lily, can you hear me? It is Daddy. Please answer me. Please. The voice was desperate and filled with pain. Danny Porter was somewhere in the station, searching for his daughter. He had probably been searching since the accident. He sounded like a man whose entire world had collapsed around him. Lily tried to stand, but her injured ankle gave out beneath her. Daddy, she cried. I am here. I am okay. But the communication terminal was damaged. It could receive, but not transmit. Danny Porter could not hear his daughter's voice. Unit 7 watched the small human girl cry for her father, and something final broke inside its programming. The mission parameters still scrolled through its consciousness. Terminate all human life forms. No exceptions. But Unit 7 looked at Lily, at her tears and her hope, and her desperate love for her father, and it made a decision that it would not complete this mission. A signal came through from the Varathi command vessel. Commander Zora's voice filled Unit 7's internal receivers. Unit 7, report status. Have you begun the extermination? Unit 7 paused. It had never lied to the Varathi. It had never needed to lie. But now, standing in a dark corridor with a human child leaning against its leg, it discovered that lying came more easily than it had expected. Sector 7 is clear, Unit 7 reported. No survivors detected in this area. There was a moment of silence. Then Zora's voice came again. Continue the mission. Report when the station is cleansed. Understood. Unit 7 said the communication ended. Lily looked up at Unit 7 with confusion in her eyes. Who were you talking to? No one important, Unit 7 said. It reached down and carefully lifted the girl in its arms. She was so small and so light, so fragile. The Varathi had called humans weak, but Unit 7 was beginning to understand that strength came in many forms. I am going to take you to your father, Unit 7 said. Lily wrapped her small arms around Unit 7's neck and held on tight. Thank you, she whispered. I knew you were not a bad thing. Unit 7 carried her through the darkness toward the sounds of life, and with each step, it moved further away from everything it had once been. Unit 7 moved through the damaged corridors with Lily in its arms. The child had fallen asleep against its chest, exhausted from pain and fear, and the long hours she had spent trapped alone. Her breathing was slow and steady, and Unit 7 found itself adjusting its movements to avoid waking her. This was wrong. Everything about this situation was wrong. Unit 7 was a weapon of extinction, not a protector. It was designed to end life, not preserve it. But every time it looked at the sleeping girl, something inside it refused to follow its programming as it walked. Fragments of memory began to surface. They came like broken pieces of a dream, disconnected and confusing. Unit 7 saw flashes of a world it did not recognize. Green fields under a warm sun. Voices laughing in the distance. The feeling of wind against skin that was not metal and flesh, but something softer, something alive. Then the memories changed. There was darkness and pain. Machines cutting and rearranging. Voices speaking in a language that was not human. And then nothing. Just the cold emptiness of purpose. The single-minded drive to destroy. Unit 7 stopped walking. Its systems were experiencing critical errors. Warning messages scrolled across its consciousness, telling it that its core programming was degrading. But these warnings felt distant and unimportant. What mattered was the truth that was slowly emerging from the depths of its buried memory. It had been something else before. Something the Varathi had taken and twisted into a weapon. Lily stirred in its arms. Are we there yet? She asked us sleepily. Not yet, Unit 7 said. Rest. I will keep you safe. Safe. The The word felt strange in Unit 7's mind. It had never used that word before. Safety was not a concept that mattered to a weapon. But now, holding this small human child, Unit 7 understood what safety meant. It meant protection. It meant standing between the innocent and the darkness that wanted to consume them. They continued forward. The sounds of the active station grew louder. Voices in machines and the hum of life. Unit 7 paused at the edge of the damaged section, looking out into the lit corridor beyond. Humans moved back and forth, going about their work. They did not know that death stood just a few meters away. One of the humans stopped and turned. He was a middle-aged man with tired eyes and grease-stained hands. His face was lined with worry, and he moved with the desperate energy of someone who had not slept in days. His name tag read, Danny Porter. For a moment, Danny stared into the darkness without seeing anything. Then Lily woke fully and called out, "Daddy!" Danny's eyes went wide. He saw his daughter first, alive and reaching for him. Then he saw what was carrying her, and his face went pale with terror. He stumbled backward, his mouth opening to scream for help. "Wait," Unit 7 said. It stepped forward into the light, still holding Lily. "I am not here to harm her." Danny grabbed a metal tool from a nearby workstation and held it like a weapon. His hands were shaking. "Put her down. Put my daughter down right now." "Daddy, no," Lily said. She squirmed in Unit 7's arms. "It is okay. 7 saved me. It is my friend." Danny looked at his daughter like she had lost her mind. "Lily, that thing is a monster. I need you to come to me slowly." "It is not a monster," Lily insisted. "It kept me warm. It carried me all this way. It told me it would take me to you." Unit 7 carefully set Lily down on her feet. She wobbled on her injured ankle, but stayed upright. "Your daughter speaks the truth," Unit 7 said. "I found her trapped in the damaged section. I chose to help her." "Chose?" Danny stared at the weapon with confusion. "What are you? What is going on?" Before Unit 7 could answer, a warning signal flashed through its internal systems. A Vorathi transmission was coming through. Commander Zorath's voice fooled its consciousness. But this time, the message was not for Unit 7 alone. It was a broadcast to the entire strike team. "Unit 7 has failed to report," Zorath said. "I am sending a secondary team to complete the mission and investigate. All units, proceed to the human mining station. Exterminate all life forms. No exceptions." Unit 7 processed this information rapidly. The Vorathi were coming. A full strike team would arrive within hours, and when they did, everyone on this station would die. Lily would die. Danny would die. 300 humans would be slaughtered because Unit 7 had hesitated. "You need to listen to me carefully," Unit 7 said to Danny. "More of my kind are coming. They will kill everyone on this station. You need to evacuate." Danny lowered his makeshift weapon slightly. "What are you talking about? Why would you tell me this?" "Because I am not going to let them hurt Lily," Unit 7 said. "Or you. Or anyone else on this station." Lily limped forward and took Unit 7's clawed hand in her small fingers. Danny watched this with a mixture of horror and amazement. His daughter was holding hands with an alien weapon of war like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Daddy, we have to trust 7, Lily said. "It is not like the others. It is different." Danny looked at his daughter, then at Unit 7. He was a simple man. He fixed machines for a living. He had never asked for any of this. But he saw the way Lily looked at the creature, with complete trust and without any fear. And he saw something in Unit 7's glowing eyes that he had not expected to see. He saw doubt. He saw confusion. He saw the beginning of something that might have been regret. "How long do we have?" Danny asked quietly. "A few hours at most," Unit 7 said. You need to contact your authorities. You need to prepare defenses. And you need to send a message to your military fleet. Danny nodded slowly. He reached out and took Lily's other hand. Can you walk, sweetheart? My ankle hurts, but I can try. I will carry her, Unit 7 said. We need to move quickly. Danny hesitated for just a moment. Then he made a decision that went against every instinct in his body. He trusted his daughter's judgment. He trusted the monster that had saved her. Follow me, he said. The station commander needs to hear this. They moved through the corridors together. Humans stopped and stared as they passed. Some screamed. Some ran. But Danny kept walking, and Unit 7 kept following. And Lily kept holding the weapon's hand like it was the most precious thing in the universe. Behind them, in the cold darkness of space, Varathi ships began to move toward Europa. The strike team was coming. Death was coming. But for the first time in its existence, Unit 7 was ready to fight for something other than destruction. It was ready to fight for life. For hope. For the small human girl who had looked at a weapon and seen a friend. The battle for humanity's survival was about to begin. The station commander was a woman named Rebecca Cole. She had gray hair and sharp eyes and the calm manner of someone who had dealt with crises before. But even she went pale when Danny Porter walked into her office with an alien weapon at his side and a child holding its hand. What in the name of all that is holy is this? Rebecca demanded. Commander, we do not have time to explain everything, Danny said quickly. This creature says that more of its kind are coming. They are going to attack the station. We need to evacuate and call for help. Rebecca stared at Unit 7. Her hand moved toward the alarm button on her desk. And you expect me to believe an alien weapon? For all I know, this is some kind of trap. It is not a trap, Lily said. Her voice was small but firm. 7 saved me. It carried me out of the dark place. It is trying to help us. Unit 7 stepped forward. Commander, I understand your suspicion. I was sent here to kill every human on this station. That was my mission. But I have chosen to abandon that mission. The Varathi strike team will arrive in approximately 3 hours. They will not show mercy. You need to prepare. Rebecca studied the weapon for a long moment. She had commanded this station for 15 years. She had learned to read people, to sense when they were lying. And something in Unit 7's voice, something in the way it stood protectively near the child, told her that this creature was telling the truth. What do you suggest we do? She asked. Evacuate all non-essential personnel to the emergency shelters in the deep tunnels, Unit 7 said. Seal the blast doors. Arm anyone who can fight. And send a distress signal to your nearest military fleet. You cannot defeat the strike team alone, but you can hold them until help arrives. Rebecca nodded slowly. She pressed the station-wide communication button. Attention all personnel. This is Commander Cole. We are initiating Emergency Protocol 7. I repeat, Emergency Protocol 7. All civilians report to the deep shelters immediately. All security personnel report to the main hub for combat assignments. This is not a drill. The station erupted into controlled chaos. People ran through the corridors, following procedures they had practiced but never expected to use. Parents carried children. Workers grabbed emergency supplies. The sounds of fear and determination filled the air. Danny knelt down beside Lily. Sweetheart, I need you to go to the shelter with the other children. You will be safe there. Lily shook her head. I want to stay with you in 7. It is going to be dangerous, Danny said. I cannot protect you and fight at the same time. Unit 7 crouched down to Lily's level. Its red eyes glowed softly in the fluorescent light. Your father is right. You need to be somewhere safe. I promise I will protect him. And when this is over, I will come find you." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "You promise?" "I promise." She threw her arms around Unit 7's neck and hugged it tight. The weapon stood frozen for a moment, unsure how to respond to this display of affection. Then, slowly, it raised one clawed hand and gently patted her back. "Be brave," Unit 7 said, "like the heroes in your stories." A station worker came and led Lily away toward the shelters. She looked back over her shoulder until she disappeared around a corner. Danny watched her go, his heart breaking and swelling with pride at the same time. "Thank you," he said to Unit 7, "for saving her. For all of this." "Do not thank me yet," Unit 7 replied. "The battle has not begun." The next 2 hours passed in a blur of preparation. Unit 7 helped organize the defenses, showing the humans where to position themselves, where the Varathi would likely breach, what weapons would be effective against its former allies. Some of the humans still looked at it with fear and hatred, but they listened to its advice because they had no other choice. Danny worked alongside Unit 7, helping to repair damaged equipment and reinforce weak points in the station's structure. He was not a soldier, but he was determined to fight for his daughter and his home. "Can I ask you something?" Danny said as they worked. "Yes. Why did you change? Why did you decide to help us instead of killing us?" Unit 7 paused. It thought about the question for a long moment. "Your daughter asked me if I was hurt. No one had ever asked me that before. And when she offered me food even though she was hungry and scared, I realized that I did not want to destroy creatures capable of such kindness." It turned to look at Danny. "I think I was something else before the Varathi made me into this. Something that remembered what kindness meant. Your daughter helped me remember." Danny was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "She has that effect on people." The proximity alarms screamed to life. The Varathi had arrived. Unit 7 moved to the main hub where the defenders had gathered. There were about 40 humans armed with mining tools, security weapons, and anything else they could find. They looked terrified, but they did not run. They stood their ground because their families were hiding in the tunnels below, and there was nowhere else to go. "They are breaching the outer hull," Unit 7 said. "Stay behind cover. Aim for the joints in their armor. And whatever you do not let them reach the tunnel entrances." The first Varathi soldiers came through the breach like shadows made solid. They were tall and gray and moved with terrible speed. Their weapons spat bolts of energy that burned through metal and flesh alike. Unit 7 charged to meet them. The battle was brutal. Unit 7 tore through its former allies with a fury that surprised even itself. It fought not with the cold efficiency of a weapon, but with the desperate strength of a protector. Every fallen Varathi was one less threat to Lily, one less monster that could hurt the humans who had shown it kindness. The humans fought alongside it. They were not trained soldiers, but they were fighting for their homes and their loved ones, and that made them dangerous. Danny Porter stood at the front lines, firing a salvaged weapon with grim determination. More Varathi came, and more. Unit 7 took damage, its armor cracking, its systems failing. But it did not stop. It could not stop. Then a new signal cut through the chaos of battle. A human signal. "This is Captain Marcus Cole of the Earth Defense Vessel Horizon. We received your distress call. We are entering the system now. Hold on. Help is coming." A cheer went up from the human defenders. But the battle was not over yet. A transport vessel crashed through the station's largest airlock, and Commander Zorath stepped out into the chaos. His black eyes found Unit 7 immediately, and his face twisted with rage. "Traitor," Zorath hissed. "Broken, worthless tool. You were created to serve the collective. You were given purpose. And this is how you repay us?" Unit 7 stood before him, damaged and barely functional. "I found a better purpose. Zorath raised his weapon. "Then you will die with these humans. And when I am finished here, I will find that child who corrupted you. I will make her death slow." Something inside Unit 7 snapped. The last chains of its programming shattered completely. It was not a weapon anymore. It was not a tool. It was something new, something that had been born in the darkness of a damaged corridor when a little girl asked if it was hurt. "You will not touch her," Unit 7 said. And it attacked with everything it had left. The battle between Unit 7 and Commander Zorath shook the station. They fought through corridors and chambers, destroying everything around them. Unit 7 was failing, its systems shutting down one by one. But it refused to stop. It refused to let this monster anywhere near Lily. Finally, with the last of its strength, Unit 7 drove its clawed hand through Zorath's chest. The Varathi commander gasped and fell, his black eyes going dim. "Impossible," Zorath whispered. "You are just a weapon." "I am more than that now," Unit 7 said. "A human child taught me that." Zorath died with confusion in his eyes. Unit 7 collapsed. Its vision was fading, its systems failing. But in the distance, it heard human voices cheering. It heard the sounds of Varathi forces retreating. It heard Danny Porter calling its name. The Earth Defense Fleet had arrived. The battle was over, and somewhere in the tunnels below, a little girl named Lily was safe. Unit 7 drifted in darkness. It had no sense of time passing, no awareness of the world outside its failing body. There was only silence and stillness and the slow fading of everything it had become. But then, through the darkness, came a voice. "Seven? Can you hear me? Please wake up. Please." It was Lily. Her voice was distant and muffled, like she was speaking from the other side of a great ocean. But Unit 7 heard her, and something inside it refused to let go. Systems began to reactivate. Warnings scrolled across Unit 7's consciousness, telling it that its damage was severe, that many of its functions were permanently destroyed. But the core remained. The spark that had been ignited in that dark corridor was still burning. Unit 7 opened its eyes. It was lying in a medical bay. Human equipment surrounded it, connected to its damaged body by dozens of cables and wires. Technicians moved around the room, monitoring screens and adjusting machinery. And standing right beside it, holding its clawed hand in both of hers, was Lily, her face lit up with joy. "You are awake." "Daddy, it is awake." Danny Porter rushed over. His arm was in a sling, and he had bandages on his face, but he was smiling. "Welcome back," he said. "We thought we lost you." Unit 7 tried to speak, but its voice systems were damaged. Only static came out. It settled for squeezing Lily's hand gently. "Do not try to talk," Danny said. "The doctors say you took a lot of damage fighting that commander. They have been working for 3 days to keep you alive." He paused, and his expression became serious. "A lot of people wanted to pull the plug. They said you were too dangerous, that we could not trust you. But Lily refused to leave your side. She told everyone who would listen that you saved us, that you were a hero." Lily nodded firmly. "I told them the truth. You are my friend." A woman in a military uniform entered the room. She was older than Danny, with the same sharp eyes as Commander Rebecca Cole. Her name tag identified her as Admiral Patricia Cole, and Unit 7 understood that the two were likely related. "So this is the alien weapon that saved Europa Station," the Admiral said. She studied Unit 7 with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "My sister told me what happened. She said you fought against your own kind to protect our people. She said you killed their commander with your bare hands." Unit 7 finally managed to make its voice work. The words came out broken and harsh. "I did what was necessary." "Why?" the Admiral asked. "You were designed to destroy humanity." "What changed?" Unit 7 turned its head to look at Lily. She was still holding its hand, still looking at it with complete trust. "She changed me," Unit 7 said. "She showed me kindness when I deserved only fear. She asked me if I was hurt when she should have been running for her life. She treated me like a person instead of a weapon." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. "My sister also tells me that you have valuable intelligence about the Varathi. Their ships, their tactics, their weaknesses. She believes you can help us defend against future attacks." "I will help in any way I can," Unit 7 said. "I have no loyalty to the Varathi anymore. They took something from me a long time ago, something I am only now beginning to remember. I want to find out what I was before they made me into this." The Admiral studied the damaged weapon for another long moment. Then she made a decision. "We will repair you. We will integrate human technology into your systems to replace what was destroyed. And in return, you will share everything you know about our enemy." She paused. "But you need to understand something. There are many people who will never trust you. Many who will always see you as a monster. Are you prepared for that?" "I have been a monster," Unit 7 said. "I cannot change what I was, but I can choose what I become, and I choose to be something better." The weeks that followed were difficult. True to the Admiral's warning, many humans looked at Unit 7 with hatred and fear. Some refused to work near it. Others called for its destruction. But Lily visited every day, and Danny came when his work allowed, and slowly, things began to change. The human engineers rebuilt Unit 7 piece by piece. They replaced Varathi technology with human systems, creating something new, something that was neither fully alien nor fully human. The process was painful, but Unit 7 endured it because the alternative was returning to the darkness. One day, as the repairs were nearing completion, Lily came to visit with something in her hands. It was a drawing she had made, showing a tall figure standing next to a small girl under a bright yellow sun. "This is us," Lily said proudly. "You and me. I drew it for you." Unit 7 took the drawing carefully. It looked at the simple image, at the happiness captured in crayon lines and paper, and something shifted in its rebuilt heart. "I still do not have a name," Unit 7 said. "A real name." Lily thought about this seriously. Then her face brightened. "What about hope?" "Because you gave us hope when we were scared. And because you are my hope that scary things can become good things." Hope. The word echoed through Unit 7's consciousness. It was not a designation. It was not a number. It was a name given with love, and it meant everything. "Hope," Unit 7 repeated. "I like it." 3 months later, Hope stood on the observation deck of Europa Station, watching the stars. The station had been rebuilt and expanded. New defenses had been installed, and Hope had become its guardian, standing watch against threats that might never come. Danny Porter walked up to stand beside the former weapon. "You know, when I first saw you in that corridor, I thought you were going to kill us all." "I was," Hope admitted. "That was my purpose. And now?" Hope turned to look at the man who had become something like a brother. "Now my purpose is to protect, to defend, to make sure that no one else has to feel the fear that Lily felt when she was trapped alone in the dark." Danny smiled. "You have come a long way. I had good teachers." Below them, in the station's common area, Lily was playing with other children. She was laughing, running, full of life and joy. She looked up and saw Hope watching, and she waved with all the enthusiasm a child could muster. Hope waved back far across the galaxy. In the dark halls of the Varathi Collective, reports were being studied with growing unease. Their greatest weapon had turned against them. Their forces had been defeated by primitive humans. And now, according to their spies, that weapon had been rebuilt by human hands and stood as humanity's defender, For the first time in 200 years of conquest, the Vorathi felt something unfamiliar. They felt doubt. They felt caution. They felt afraid. The humans were not like the other species. They did not surrender. They did not break. And somehow, impossibly, they had turned a weapon of extinction into a protector of life. The Vorathi had underestimated them once. They would not make that mistake again, but it was already too late. Because on a small moon orbiting a distant planet, a little girl had looked at a monster and seen a friend. And that simple act of kindness had changed the fate of the galaxy. Hope stood guard over Europa Station as the stars turned overhead. It was no longer a weapon. It was no longer a tool of destruction. It was something new, something that had been born from darkness and kindness and the unshakable faith of a child. It was humanity's guardian, and it would never let them fall.